All right, say it again.
Watch the last one at the box.
Y'all subscribe to the Last Ones at the Bar boxing channel, man. We got some boxing fans out there.
Hola, soy Jolie de Medellín y estás viendo la Squad 11 de Bar, el mejor canal de boxeo. Dale me gusta y suscríbete. Y me puedes encontrar en Instagram como Jolie1026 Sánchez. Bye.
See, my bad.
Last Ones at the Bar exclusively talks about the sport of boxing.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back to another episode of Last Ones at the Bar, baddest boxing podcast out. My name is Wilton Henry. And this week, my main man, Lavelle, is out due to load management. He said that he's going to be out there in the greater Detroit area. So today I'm joined by my good guy, very good friend of the show, and that's the one and only Ty Finney. Ty, how we doing today, good brother?
Doing good, man. Glad to be back on. Talk this boxing, this sport we love, man. Let's dive into it. See what we got to talk about today.
Bet, man. Since Ville, like I said, he had to go up to his hometown. Popping off them firecrackers. So I was gonna just go ahead and load manage myself, but it was just so much boxing to discuss, especially with the events that's going on next week. You got two huge fight cards. One is an all-ladies show, and then you got the other one that's a real firecracker as well. And I know that you're a huge boxing aficionado, and it's hard for me not to come on when you got so much boxing to discuss. And so I'm glad that you were able to join me today, man. Before we get started, I do want to ask you a quick question. We try to warm it up a little bit with a couple softball questions. My first question for you is, so far with this 4th of July weekend, how was it? Did you do anything special?
Yeah, so I had to work on the 4th, man. So definitely made some extra money. But when I got off, didn't really do anything special. But me and my lady just got a room in the casino. So, we had a room out there, and we just watched, the fireworks from our room. But other than that, man, it was pretty laid back for me.
Pretty chill. That's what's up, man. I'm glad you and your lady had a good time out that way. For me, I didn't do too much of anything, man. I had to pause on my sports betting because anytime that I take a couple L's in a row, I know it's time to pack it in. And this week, or I think, was it yesterday, I believe, I was going with the Sparks. Caitlin Clark, she was out yesterday, but I still thought that they had enough to cover that 5-point spread, but they ended up losing by 1 point. And then the other game was a close game as well, which had the Minnesota Lynx, and I had them. It had at least be like 8.5 or something like that, but they were playing sloppy. In that Fever game, it was this one young lady. She just kept hitting these threes, and she's not known for hitting threes, but the shot clock would go down, and then she just kept, hitting those shots, which cost me. But again, I just put my money up, for now, and maybe next week when the fights, start, I'll put some more money down. But I'm gonna pause for the cause for a second. So today's episode, these are some of the things that we're going to discuss. First, we always, like to talk about, historical events, historical matchups that took place. So we're going to do a flashback of the uncle, Roger Mayweather. He was going against senior, not junior, Chavez. So you got Mayweather versus Chavez, their first fight. They actually had two fights. Second fight lasted a lot longer. The first fight was a second round knockout. Also, I want to get your thoughts on that Diddy trial. Did they get it right? As far as recaps, it wasn't much to recap. You had a fight yesterday that kind of ended controversially. It was very controversial, I should say. And we won't really touch on that. That was the Jack Catterall fight. Unless you just want to discuss it, we'll go ahead and bypass that because we got so many predictions this week. So first and foremost, you got the Edgar Berlanga card. He's going to be taking on Shiraz. You got Shakur Stevenson. He's going to be going against Zepeda. You got the Puello Matias fight. Then the all-ladies card with the Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Lisa Baumgartner. She's going to be in action against a lady named Jennifer Miranda. Savannah Marshall and Sadasia Green. I think that's going to be a real barn burner right there. And I'd like to get your thoughts as far as who you're going to predict for that. And then we got the news corner. And then Ty, he loves his 2000 R&B. So I'm going to see what he says about the question I got for him today. All right, Ty. Also, man, I did book my trip, my summer trip. So I'm going to go back to Rio this year. And so I'll be out there. A buddy of mine, he's going to stop through Tuesday through Friday, and then I'll stick around until Sunday there. And then I'm flying up by way of Aruba. So I'll be in Aruba for a couple days as well. So I get a chance to get my summer relaxation in. You know what my motto is when I go on my trips?
Yeah.
You just do you, watch me do me. You remember that song? Rocco?
Yeah.
That's the motto when I go on them trips, man. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get to it. Today is the 6th, but actually in history on the 7th, which would be tomorrow, 1985, you had the Julio Cesar Chavez Roger Mayweather fight. Are you familiar with either of these guys? I know you wasn't really watching boxing at the time, but have you ever seen any clips of these guys?
Nah, I'm not familiar with that fight, but both guys are great fighters.
Yes, indeed. And the thing about this fight is Roger, he was doing good in the first round. Now, one thing I did notice when I revisited this fight, Roger has some of the tiniest legs in boxing history. That's a whole fact right there. But he had a mean right hand. He was a mean son of a gun. And so let's take a look at the second round. I'm just going to take a look at this and anything that you notice when you take a look at these guys. You know, Julio Cesar Chavez, one of the greatest, I would say 130-pound fighters of all time. Some people give him credit for the 35 work that he did. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but 130, he was very, very impressive. But here we go. So this right here, Roger already see a nice right hand. He clipped him with a little bit, but then it's going to get all bad from there. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But again, we used to be able to see these fights, CBS, on Saturdays. They used to show these fights, Gil Clancy and those guys. So right now, Roger didn't have the best chin in the world either. But he was a mean son of a gun. Yeah, Chavez was putting on the other thing. It's not Richard Steele. Richard Steele was known also for stopping fights kind of clever. That's going to be it. Finishing him off. Yeah.
What round was that?
That's the second round. But again, Roger was doing really well in the first round, but then he got clipped. Like I said, he didn't have the best chin in the world. This is it right here. Chavez was a mean finisher. Get him out of here. Yeah, so that's going to be our showcase fight in boxing history. And so Roger, he went on. I think he won some championships after that, but for the most part, you know, he couldn't mess with Chavez. But again, if you see the other fight, he did a lot better job. He lasted till the 11th round. But let me go ahead and move forward. So that's today's boxing topic. Really quickly, Ty, were you keeping up with the Sean Diddy trial?
Yeah, I wasn't actually keeping up with it, but of course everybody was talking about it. You know, everybody's got their opinions on it. So, yeah.
What do you think they got it right in terms of him not being convicted of the most serious charges as far as the racketeering, sex trafficking, and things of that nature? Based on what you saw, based on what you heard.
Yeah, I had mixed thoughts on it. But I mean, everybody's doing their job, and if that's what they came up with, then. But I mean, like I know, like, as far as he's had a lot of things against him. So, but I know what he's seen with our own eyes, like the things that he was doing, him fighting a woman on camera and all that. So I mean, the man is doing his time. So I mean, I don't like it. I don't like anything that he was doing. But so, I mean.
No, I hear you. This here's the thing for me though, right?
Okay.
So as far as the video and the things that they had him for, yeah, he doesn't seem like the greatest guy in the world. I agree with all of that. Right. To me, when you have a federal case, then the charges should apply at the federal level. The stuff that we're seeing is more domestic abuse. We're seeing assault and things like that, or hearing about those incidents where that's something that like the local municipalities will come and pick you up for and take you to jail, not a whole drawn out one man RICO, because a RICO really supposed to be a whole bunch of people involved. And so you talking about a one man RICO. Only thing we're hearing about is these sexcapades and things of that nature. It really, I was glad that he didn't get charged with those charges. It's something more or less extreme than I can understand possibly, but those charges, they were actually reaching a lot when it came to things like racketeering and sex trafficking and things like that. The last thing I say is this: how can you charge him with transportation for prostitution and not charge Cassie? Like, that's crazy to me, because she was a lot of times making the phone calls and telling him that she was enjoying some of the things that were taking place. But I digress. So that's just my thoughts, man. But anyway, let me go ahead and move forward to get off into what it is we came here to do. And let's talk this good old boxing. Like I said, we don't really have anything to recap. If you haven't done so already, my channel or our channel, and then also Ty's channel, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Nothing to recap. So let's go ahead and get off into these predictions. Next week, starting off, you got that fight card in New York. I want to say it's in Queens. The headline is going to be Berlanga and Shiraz. You got Stevenson and Zepeda. I think the bigger fight to me, the one I'm more intrigued about, is the Stevenson and Zepeda fight. So that's where we're going to start. So you got Shakur Stevenson is going to be entering the ring against William Zepeda, a fight that a lot of people have been clamoring for. You got Shakur Stevenson, southpaw. He's out of Newark, New Jersey. He's 23-0 with 11 KOs, 5'8" with a 68-inch reach. He's coming off the Josh Padley fight, in which he was supposed to fight Kid Austin, but then Kid Austin ended up getting sick, and so he ended up fighting the electrician, which was Josh Padley, and he ended up getting a 9th round TKO victory. William Zepeda is 33-0 with 27 KOs. He's 29 years of age, 5'9", 69.5-inch reach. He's coming off the 2 tough fights against Tevin Farmer. One was a majority decision victory. The other one was a split decision victory. Also, when it comes to this fight, I put a poll out yesterday. 75% of the people who participated in this survey says that Shakur Stevenson will be victorious. What say you, sir? Who do you got liking this fight and why? And before you go, I see my guy over there in the chat. We got Shelton. He says, glad the court system gave him a break. That's right. Fellas, what up? And then you got Shelton says he got Shakur. So let me go ahead and put the link in the chat for our guy, because we got to get his predictions on here as well. And while we do that, I'm listening to you, Legend.
Yeah. So if you had asked me this months and months ago, I would have definitely said William Zepeda, because like this guy is he's a workhorse. He comes forward, he throws punches and bunches nonstop. But now the fact that he's had 2 fights against Tevin Farmer, both fights went the distance. And you can argue that, Zepeda lost the first one. He definitely won the second one, but you can argue that he lost the first one. And Tevin Farmer, we know he's a guy that doesn't have power. Shakur Stevenson is a guy that also doesn't have power, but he's very skilled. He's very skilled. So, and a lot of times skills beats power. We can go back to Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Wilder had all the power, but Fury was outboxing him. And I think that's just what's going to happen in this fight. I think that Zepeda, he's going to come forward, but Shakur's defense is so on point, he's not going to be able to tag Shakur like that. So I see this fight definitely going the distance, but I see Shakur coming out victorious, landing more of the clean shots, doing some good countering here and there. But I don't think it's going to be an easy fight by any means, but I think Shakur is definitely going to come out victorious. Like I said, we know he doesn't have power, but he's very skilled. He's very defensively responsible, very, very good with that. So I definitely got Shakur Stevenson winning by decision.
I think we got somebody that's about to come on in a second who's going to disagree with you in terms of how close this fight is going to be, which is good. My question before I bring my good guy Sheldon on is this: what do you think Shakur's hands are going to hold up? Because he's going to have to really put some punches together and just stop Zepeda in his tracks. When I looked at the Josh Padley fight, he was doing a lot of like messing with his hands and pulling his gloves up and stuff like that. I don't think with somebody, as you said, a workhorse like Zepeda is going to allow you that time to be sitting there playing with your hands and stuff like that, because you're going to have to really be using them to put them, you know, in Zepeda's face. So what do you think about that? You think the man's going to hold up for all 12? Are you concerned about that at all?
Not really. It reminds me. It reminds me also. What was the guy's name that Shakur fought? Oscar Valdez. He was a power punch. He was a power puncher, and Shakur made easy work of him. And I'm not saying that Zepeda and Valdez have the same style, but they both power punchers. So, but I think that I think he'll hold up for all 12.
Okay, let's go ahead and bring Sheldon on. Let's see if what he thinks about this. Sheldon, what's good now?
Fellas, salute. How you brothers doing? Happy Independence Day to you, brothers.
Well, if you celebrate that sort of thing, were you out there firing them firecrackers?
No, I'm a grown man. I don't mess with kids' toys.
Can't seem to get enough of you.
Yeah, I saw that. That was the most idiotic. Well, hey, I don't wish that on nobody. I hope that brother heals up. But anyway,
you talking about 4 extra?
Oh my God, what a moron. But anyway, I don't wish that on nobody. Let's get that straight. I don't wish that on nobody. I'm praying for that dude. But wow. Grown man with kids. And anyway. Yeah, this guy, I don't have too much respect for this guy. He had a hurt fighter in Tevin Farmer in front of him for 12 rounds. He couldn't do nothing with him. So I think Shakur is gonna beat him by destruction. It's gonna look similar to the fight with Jamil Herring. It's gonna look similar to that. This is destruction. Probably stop him around 9th or 10th round. I don't think Zepeda is very good. Never have thought he was very good. He's gonna get beat down and stop.
Right. Which one would you say more so, the 9th or the 10th? Which one are you gonna say?
I'll go with the 9th. I think by the 9th he's gonna have been hit with so many punches. He's just not gonna know where to go.
Okay. Yeah, my biggest concern is Shakur's hands holding up, because he does a lot of in and out. And I think in this fight, he might stand a little bit more stationary again, because the fact that Zepeda, the guys he really plays it safe with are more dynamic as far as their punching power. And the punches, like, they come out of nowhere and you can get caught slipping, where I think everything Zepeda does, he'll be able to see. I do think that Zepeda will be able to withstand the things that Shakur is going to be doing, because Shakur only has about 10 knockouts in his pro career. And a lot of times he looks so, I want to say weak. It just, those punches don't land with any thud, but he will land things that are so quick that you might be a little bit concerned and cautious. But at 135, I just don't see it. And I know he got Josh Padley out of there, but it was just the fact that Josh Padley, the skills were so wide. It was such a big gap that eventually you can hit that flush that, you know, something bad is going to happen. But in this one, I think his whiskers are going to hold up. I actually think this fight is going to be more like a 9-3, 8-4 type win. But at the end, when it's all said and done, when the smoke clears, you're going to have Shakur Stevenson being victorious in this one. So I got Shakur by 12-round unanimous decision, which may lead to a Kid Austin fight. They're saying that they're flying him out there, or they want to fly him out there so he can be ringside to get the victor. But we'll see. All right, so now also on that card, you got the loud, the gregarious one, which is going to be your boy here, Edgar Berlanga. He's 23-1 with 18 KOs. They call him the chosen one, 28 years of age, 6 feet 1 inches. He has 73-inch reach. He's coming off of the Jonathan Gonzalez Ortiz first-round victory after, you know, somewhat of an impressive ending to the Saul Alvarez fight. He's fighting Hamza Shiraz, who's 21-0 with 17 KOs with 1 draw in his last fight. He's 26 years of age, 6'3". So he's going to be pretty tall in there against Edgar. He has a 75-inch reach. And again, like he's coming off that draw against Carlos Adames. A lot of people thought Adames won that fight. But in the polling, the people who participated, they're going with Hamza Shiraz to be victorious against the chosen one. Ty, do you agree?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Shiraz in this fight. Like both guys got some power, but we know that when Berlanga, he was getting all those first round knockouts, but of course that was to lesser competition. You seen when he fought Canelo, he stepped up and fought one of the best. You can argue that he lost every single one of those rounds. So then, like you said, he fought a guy that hasn't fought in years and had like a belly. So of course that was an easy fight for him. But he's fighting a guy that's got power. So I'm gonna go with Shiraz on this one. I think this is gonna be one of the tougher fights for Edgar Berlanga. So I'm gonna go with Shiraz by decision.
All right. What about you, Sheldon?
Yeah, I got Hamza Shiraz by decision. I think Edgar Berlanga is a tough kid, even though I don't like him, as a person, or this weird stuff that he says. Like he's a huge star, and he's one of the biggest stars in boxing, and he did better against Canelo Alvarez than anyone had ever thought. And he's never, he's a mega star now, and bro, Hamza's gonna beat you up. I mean, because your defense is suspect. You look for ways out of fights. When you starts to get sticky. I just don't think you're very good, and Hamza Shiraz is going to beat you up. I don't think he'll stop you because you're a tough kid. I will give you that, but he's going to beat you up.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards a late stoppage because the difference between what Canelo was doing. So not to say that Shiraz is on a Canelo level. I just think the youthfulness of Shiraz, he's going to be comfortable at 168. And I think that he's going to be landing some nice, clean shots on Edgar Berlanga. And Shiraz is not going to do the Canelo. Canelo, once he had Berlanga in his place, he was like, okay, we got a silent agreement that you in your place. You leave me alone, then I won't go ahead and hunt you down. Where Shiraz, I think that after the loss that he had in his last fight,
that's the first time I heard that. I'm sorry. I like that.
Yeah, I think he's more hungry and he's going to have more energy to be able to sustain the punishment that Berlanga is going to be tasting. And I think by the time they make it towards the latter part of the fight, I'm thinking Berlanga is going to tire a little bit, and he's also going to be getting worn down by the shots that he's going to be taking. Because even in that Adames fight, I thought Adames won, but when Adames just was good at weaving some of those shots, I'm not sure Berlanga is going to be getting out of the way of those shots like Adames was. So I'm going with an 11th round TKO victory for Shiraz. Anything else you guys have on this fight? Or are you ready to move on to the next?
Yeah. I want to ask you, I want to get this clear. So what you're saying is, once Canelo hit him with a couple body shots and hooks and dropped him and Canelo said, okay, now if you just, I'm going to let you last if you leave me alone. But if you come at me and hit me with a hard shot, I'm going to knock you out. That's what you're trying to tell me?
I think so. It's silent agreement, Yeah. Which was cool, man. It was cool on Canelo.
Wow.
Now,
Ty, you ever heard about anything like that, Ty? I never heard anything like that before.
I don't know, Ty.
Man, yeah. Everybody's got their own opinion, man. Wooden got his, you got yours, man. So
okay. Now, this right here, I think that this might be one of the better fights on the card as far as action goes, because even though Puello doesn't have many knockouts, he comes there to fight people. So he's fighting against a guy who's very solid with his hands, very destructive, or can be very destructive. So we got Alberto Puello is going to be facing Subriel Matias. Alberto Puello is 24-0, like I said, only 10 KOs. He's 30 years of age. Dominican Republic got some champs, man. So he's a southpaw, 5'9.5", 71-inch reach. He is coming off a victory against who was that? He just beat. It was
I think he just beat up Jerry Antoine Russell, right? Oh, he beat. No, he beat the guy that Devin was supposed to fight.
It was like Martin or somebody like that.
Yeah, Sandor Martin. He just beat Sandor Martin in a good fight. Yeah,
it was a very, very close and competitive fight, as you see with the scoring up there. And then you got Subriel Matias, all KOs and all of his victories, and he has 2 defeats. Getting up there, though, that I know 33 doesn't seem like much, but it seems like some people are saying his best days are past him.
Yeah, because of the style that he fights. Well, the way he fights, he gets old fast.
5'8", 71-inch reach, and he's fighting out of Puerto Rico. He had 2 victories after the Liam Paro debacle. And so when we looked at the voting, most people who voted are saying that Subriel Matias is going to whoop on Alberto Puello. Ty, talk to me. What you think?
Yeah, this is a tricky one, man. I've seen Matias fight live. I know this guy, he comes with power, but the thing with Matias, he starts off slow. But Puello, Alberto, man, like this guy knows what to do with power punches. We seen him in there with Gary Russell. You know, this guy pretty much had all KOs in all his fights as well. So we seen him held his ground with Gary Antoine Russell. So he's gonna know what to do to avoid getting hit by Matias. So I got Alberto winning this fight, you know, by decision. I think he's gonna make easy work of, you know, Matias in the later rounds. I can see Matias maybe landing some tough shots, some serious shots here and there, but it's not gonna phase Alberto. So I see Matias, you know, slowing down in the later rounds. You know, Alberto just coming on, just catching him, and he's gonna make his way onto you know, a decision victory. So I got Alberto in this one, but I think Matias could land a big shot that could possibly phase and stun Alberto, but I just see Alberto taking this one the distance.
Okay. What about you, Sheldon?
I think he got booted off.
Okay, so what I think, man, I'm gonna have to go with Subriel Matias until I see him one more time, you know, look like he did against Paro. Then I'm gonna have to go with him. And the only reason I'm going with him is because of the firepower. With Puello, he's good. It's just like I don't think he has the artillery to keep up with Matias, especially in the pocket. What he does a lot of good work, but he's like right there in front of you. The thing about him, though, is a lot of times he's slippery in there. But I just think he lingers there a little too long. It's like he kind of fights. He's longer, but he does the same thing as Hector Garcia, where Hector Garcia can fight in front of you when he's at his best, but he's giving you kind of like little angles and things like that, where he's a little bit unorthodox inside there, where you kind of missing shots. But if you have somebody there that you're facing and they have some heavy artillery, eventually they're going to catch up to you. Hence Tank Davis when he fought against Hector Garcia. And I think that that's going to be the case in this one because Matias has a two-fisted attack. The thing you want to do with him is give him angles. And I'm not sure he doesn't give you angles. It's just more so he's just slippery. So I think when it's all said and done around the 10th round, I can see that pressure that Matias applying being just too much where they're going to wave the fight off. So I'm going with the 10th round TKO victory for my main man, Subriel Matias. But this is his last opportunity because he's dangerous to the point where even when you in victory, you can beat him, but then it's like you still been punished. You know, so a lot of times, a lot of guys don't necessarily want to have to face him just based on that. But what about you, Sheldon? What do you see in this one? Who you like?
Well, you know, Matias is one of my favorite fighters fighting today. I love me some Subriel Matias. I love his style, the way he starts slow and then just walks you down and beats you up and stops you. But I think he's met his match this time. I think this guy, Alberto Puello, is really a better boxer than people think. I think he has a little bit more pop on his shots than people think. And I don't think it's the pop. I think Alberto Puello's biggest asset, I think, is that, like in the Gary Antoine Russell fight, he hits you with shots that you don't see coming. He brings shots from weird angles and you don't see him. He's very slick. He's very slick in the ring. So I think he's going to be able to, like my man Ty said, he's going to be able to avoid Matias's power because Matias comes right at you. He's a bull. He's coming right at you. You ain't got to look for him. And I think he's going to be able to avoid that and walk Matias into shots. Now, I don't think he'll stop Matias, but I think he will outpoint Matias because unless Matias catches him with a big shot and knocks him out, I don't think he can outbox this guy. I'm sorry. I got Puello by decision.
All right. The people participating in that poll totally disagree with you, fellas. And I'm going with the people. I'm a man of the people, so I got to go with the people. All right. Also, Netflix on Friday, you got the trilogy. You got Katie Taylor going against Amanda Serrano 3. Some people feel like Serrano won the first two. Then you got Alicia Baumgartner is going to be facing Miranda on the co-feature, right? So let's go ahead and start off with the Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. It kind of, was the best fight. Well, it wasn't kind of. It was the best fight on the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight card because a lot of people are still buzzing about that fight, and then a controversy as well surrounding the ending of it. So you got Katie Taylor. She's 24-1 with 6 KOs. She is 5'5", 66-inch reach. They call her simply the best. We're getting up there at 39, though. That might be her Achilles heel is that age. You got her facing Amanda Serrano in her last fight. The fight that they had was in November. Like I said, it was on a Tyson and Jake Paul undercard. She also had 2 fights against Chantel Cameron, one in which she lost, and then she avenged the loss. And then, like I said, this is her 3rd fight with Amanda Serrano. I don't have Amanda Serrano's information on here. I apologize, but she's a very huge puncher. The poll here says who wins the Taylor versus Serrano 3, and those people participated are strongly favoring Amanda Serrano. Are you in the same thought process, Ty, as far as who you think is going to win this one?
Yeah, I'm with them as well. I do believe that Serrano won the first 2. Like Taylor, like as you mentioned, she's getting up there in age, and I just feel that she doesn't have the best gas tank. I see her just like breathing hard sometimes, in the fight. So I got Amanda Serrano. She throws way more punches. I hate the fact that she was robbed, but here we are in the trilogy. The fans like the first fight, they like the second fight, so they asked for it to run it back, and here we are. We're gonna get another action-packed fight, and I hope this time the judges they get it right and award a lady the victory that should have won the previous 2. So I'm going with Amanda Serrano 100%. But like I said, I believe that Katie Taylor doesn't have the best gas tank.
And then here is Serrano's particular. She's 47-3, 1 draw, 31 KOs, 36 years of age, southpaw, 5'5.5", out of Puerto Rico. And there you see some of the fights that she had leading up to this rematch. So you think it's going to be a decision victory? Because at some points she was stunning Katie Taylor in the last bout that they had. Is it a possibility that she could stop it?
It's possible. It's possible. I can see an instance where like she just gets tired and then Serrano takes advantage and just throws punches nonstop. Like we've seen what Serrano could do. I mean, it's a possibility. Like I think that could definitely happen.
Yes, sir. What about you, Sean? Who you got? Who you like and why?
I like Amanda Serrano. I think Serrano beat her the first 2 times. Serrano punches harder than her. Serrano's more active than her. I think Serrano is going to walk her into a shot and knock her out this time because Serrano probably now feels that she can't get a fair shake against this girl. So she's going to go in there, I think, with the mindset to stop her. I think she will. I think it's going to be anywhere between round 7 and 9. She's going to stop Katie Taylor. And that will cement this trilogy, end it. And like Ty said, the judges got it wrong both times. They got it wrong both times. And I didn't like. I stopped having respect for Katie Taylor when she started using her head. The headbutts, I didn't like that. I know it's a tactic fighters use, but it's dirty, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, you gotta do what you don't want to do sometime to get where you want to be. Oh, Holyfield was a master headbutt. But let me ask you this though: you got to tell me, man, it's 7 to 27 to 9 is not concise enough. We need more specifics.
I'll say an 8th round TKO.
8th round TKO. I'm gonna give Simply the Best a little grace, when it comes to this, in terms of her getting stopped. Now I can see it because it was a couple of times, like I say, last fight she got stunned the first fight, and when she gets stunned, what's coming is so powerful, man, that she freezes a little bit. But like you said, the fact that she'll resort to whatever tactic that she needs to use in order to overcome being buzzed, I think that that's going to hold true in this one. A lot of times she likes to throw her little flurries, but in the meantime, Serrano catches her flush sometimes in the midst of some of those exchanges. And that was the thing going into the second fight. In the first fight, that I thought that Taylor would be able to capitalize off of. I thought, when they fight in those 2-minute rounds, that what happens is you have a person like Serrano who is hitting you with the 1 or 2 big shots, where Taylor is more of a combination punch. And I thought that would look better to the judges, but she's so powerful that one shot is worth more than those 5 little flailing shots that, Taylor throws sometimes. So if the judges get it right, if it does go to the decision, I have to lean towards Serrano just based on what I saw in the previous fights. It's another thing that I can see too, is if Taylor learns from what it is she did in those other fights where she doesn't stick around long enough to get hit with the big shot, I can see her doing that as well. But if she's too old to be able to do that, that's something that we'll yet to be able to see until they actually get in the ring. But just to play it safe, based on what I've seen in the first 2 fights, I have to say Serrano, and I'll say, just for the sake of putting this information on this prediction chart, I'll say a 12-round or 10-round decision by Amanda Serrano. So let me go ahead and put that down. So right now, Ty, I'm putting you on here as well as far as our predictions.
All right.
And we'll see if you can come in second place, because everybody knows coming in first. All right. So now, with that being said, you got Alicia Baumgartner. She's going to be in action as well. She's 15-1, 7 KOs. She's off. She got off the juice. She's 31 years of age. She got off the juice, started looking real small and petite. 5'6" out of Detroit, out there where she's from, Ohio, but she resides in Detroit, where LaVelle is right now. She is defending a lot of her belts in this one. She is going against Jennifer Miranda. I think this is another case of a fighter who's pretty decent, just don't have the pop. And she's 38 years of age, out of Spain, 5'6", from Madrid, 12-0-1 KO. And you can see the fighters that she faced. If you just look at her resume, it leaves a lot to be desired. Ty, is this fight going the distance?
I'm not sure, but I'm not too familiar with Baumgartner's opponent. I'm not too familiar with her, but like I said, she only has, from what I see, she only has 1 KO. She's older. Baumgartner, she's undisputed for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with Baumgartner by decision. But she does have, the opportunity to stop this girl. So I'm not sure though. I'm gonna probably go with Baumgartner by decision, but we have seen Baumgartner get some nice stoppages. So I'm gonna just go with Baumgartner by decision. But I mean, it's boxing; anything can happen. But she's coming. She's coming to the stage. She's fighting in front of a lot of people. I can see Baumgartner definitely going to make a statement and try to get Miranda out of there. So yeah, I'll go with Alicia Baumgartner, possibly by late stoppage.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Alicia been since she's been off the juice, she looks different. Alicia fights in spurts. We know that if you've been watching her. I think this is gonna go the whole 10 rounds. I think this girl gonna get beat though. I don't think this girl is on Alicia's level as far as boxing goes. But I don't think the stoppages are gonna be coming like they were before, because as we both agree on, well, she's off the juice now. So I think it's gonna be different for her. She's angling. I know what she's doing though. She's angling for a Serrano fight or a Taylor fight. And I think after Serrano beats Taylor this time, I think Taylor's gonna retire. I truly do. I think Taylor's gonna be done after this.
Yeah, listen, man. This right here, the lady this is 7 years ago. And the lady looks old and slow 7 years ago.
Right.
Now, like you say, Baumgartner's punching like Paulie Malignaggi nowadays, but even every so often, Paulie might drop somebody. You know what I'm saying? And if
Exactly.
you said what?
I said, yeah, exactly. I got you.
If she can't stop this lady right here, then I don't know what to tell Baumgartner. I'm gonna have to go, just based on these highlights that I'm seeing here. I have to say about it. I'm gonna say 7th round, because even though Baumgartner kind of drops off, even now, like you said, she's smaller. She doesn't have the same zap in her punches and things like that. I just think the consistent knuckle sandwiches that this lady is going to be tasting, she's going to go. She's going to go. So I'm going to say 7th round TKO victory for Alicia Baumgartner. T says
the bomb ain't the same though, man. The bomb ain't the same since she got off that HGH, bro.
Yeah. Whatchcom said, and McQueen said, same, bro. I don't know what you said, but I think he agreed with you. Should Gore by stoppage. Okay. So that's what he agreeing with you on that. All right.
Ed, my guy, that's my guy right there. Ed McQueen got some nice little boxing knowledge on him too.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's my guy right there.
Shout out to Ed. All right. So let me go ahead and go back to the information, man. So I'm gonna say 7th round. And then here, this right here to me is gonna be a goodie right here. So you got Savannah.
Oh, that's the fight I'm waiting on. Go ahead, Wilton. That's the fight I'm waiting on. I want to see this one.
You got Sedation, and then Savannah Marshall's 13-1 with 10 KOs. They call it a silent assassin, 5'11 and a half out of the UK. Her last fight was against Franchon Cruz Dezern, but that was that was 2 years ago. And so she's going to be fighting Sedation Green, who's 15-1 with 11 KOs. They call it a sweet terminator. She's 35 years of age. Also, Savannah Marshall's 34. They didn't have it listed. She's 5'8", a little bit shorter, fighting out of Patterson, New Jersey. And she had a victory last November on that Tyson Jake Paul undercard. When you look at the polls here, it's a considerable lead for Sedation Green versus Savannah Marshall. Maybe they're looking at the length of time that Savannah Marshall's been off. Now, Sedation Green, she's very athletic. Got a little bit of power too. But what do you think, though, Legend? Who you got in this one? Do you agree with the polls here?
Man, this is a tricky one, man. I agree with you, God. I think this one has the opportunity to steal the show. I think this can be just as good as Katie Taylor and Serrano, both fights. I think this one can definitely steal the show, and this one give fans something to remember. Both women are power punchers. Both only lost once to great fighters. So I see them going in there and going all out, man, throwing big shots. Somebody's going to get hurt, but they're going to keep going. So this is a tricky one, man. But the only thing I can say is may the best woman win, man. But this is a tricky one.
Wait, you can't go out like that.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go with Green. I'm gonna go with Green. But I don't think it's gonna be easy. Like I said, I see a war, all out war between these two. But I'm gonna go with Green.
Decision? What is it? Decision?
Decision.
Okay. All right. What about you, Shub? Don't be bashful, man. Come on now.
No, man, I want to see this fight. Because the last image I have of Sedation Green is her getting mollywopped by Big Mama. Cruz Dezern, Big Mama mollywopped her. And Savannah Marshall did to Big Mama. She beat her, 10 out of 10 rounds. So I think the layoff, though, is what's going to affect Savannah the most. I would pick Savannah because Sedation Green is athletic, but she's slow. So I would pick Savannah, but with the 2 years off, I have to ride with Sedation Green, the bigger, more aggressive, more active fighter, I have to go with Shadasia Green.
All right, so decision.
By 10 round unanimous decision.
All right, and then Ty, he playing both sides. All right, so now on here, man, I gotta listen. Skills pay the bill, and that's the thing the noticeable difference that I see between the two. Green is good, but when I saw her against DAZN, when she stepped up to that level, she wasn't really like throwing shots, because you can tell the difference in the experience and things like that. And in a fight, when you have two powerful punchers, I got to go towards the skill. And I think that Marshall, with that herky jerky little kind of Tyson Fury little movement that she does, that's going to offset a lot of things that Green wants to do. And I think that with the 2-minute rounds and her experience, that she can, bide some time when she wants to. What really has me confident in going with Marshall in this one is the fact that Green wasn't throwing many shots against DAZN. And if she was going to like just overwhelm her and just be on her like that, then I can see her wearing her out. But I think that she's going to be kind of reluctant on coming in at some points because Marshall also can punch. Wetchgum was just too good. Closer Shields was just, too good and too fast and too slippery. But I don't think that that's going to be the case with Green. I can see even a knockout, but I think that the lack of stamina that Marshall's going to have, unless she gets her out of there early, I think that it's going to be a unanimous decision for Savannah Marshall. But I'm glad to see her back in the ranks of boxing. I know she was doing some MMA stuff, trying to get Clarissa Shields over in that direction, but this should be a goodie. And my eyes are going to be glued to the TV. But I got Savannah Marshall, unanimous decision. All right, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, man. That's going to be a good week of boxing. Which card are you most interested in the Shakur card or the women's card?
I have to say
definitely the Shakur card,
man.
Definitely the Shakur card. Definitely that.
Okay. All right. What you say, Todd? Which one are you going with?
Honestly, I like the women's card. I mean, I say that because that's different. It's all women, all women's fights. So that gives fans, a different outlook. It's not gonna be any male fights in the card. So with it being all women, that's definitely different. So I think that's pretty interesting.
Yes, that's pretty intriguing. I think it's kind of like even for me because you got I want Shiraz to shut Berlanga up. But I've been anticipating this William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson fight for quite a while, just based on style contrast. So I'm interested in those. And then I think that Puello and Matias fight is going to be, a goodie as well. As far as the Taylor card, we've seen that 3 times already, and it looked like Taylor didn't win, especially the second fight. In the first fight, I thought she might have lost that one also. But we've seen them in the ring. Kind of the allure of seeing them isn't as much as it was the first 2 times that they fought. And then I think that Baumgartner's fight, I think that's kind of a mismatch. But the fight that I am interested in most is the Shadasia Green and Savannah Marshall. So I'll slightly favor Shakur's card over the women. But I am excited to see an all-women's card that has some really good matches on it. We got the news, man. I'm going to start off with this, man. I don't think that I'm a Boots hater. I'm not. I'm just the lover of the truth. You know what I mean? Like I like to get down to the bottom of things. And so with this here, I'm looking at the news and I saw it being posted that John Ennis is fired up for the Virgil Ortiz clash at 154. And he's saying that this fight is the one that everyone wants to see. Ty, I'm gonna start with you, sir. Do you agree with Boots when he makes this statement? And what do you just think about this overall fired up excitement to face Virgil Ortiz now?
Man, I've been calling for this fight for a long time. So I hope it happens. I've been excited for this one. I've had an opportunity to see both guys fight live. Both guys got power. So to me, this is this is a fan favorite fight here. This is a fan friendly fight. Both guys, Virgil Ortiz, he comes forward. Boots got more tools in his toolbox. He's got footwork. We've seen what he did with Stanionis, moving here and there. So, but I would still say Boots needs a few fights at 154 first, just before he gets in there with a Virgil Ortiz. Like, that would sway my opinion a little bit. But if it happens right now, I'm gonna go with Virgil Ortiz because he's already fought at the weight a few times. But if Boots has a couple fights, get acclimated to the weight, then it would be more of a 50-50. But if it happens right now, I got to go with Virgil Ortiz. Like, the guy comes forward nonstop, and I think that pressure may be too much for Boots. Like, we seen him when he fought Boa, so he was slipping a little bit, and he got dropped a few times. But, this is Boots. He's now new at this weight. So if it happens right now, I got to go with Virgil Ortiz. But once Boots gets, a few fights under his belt, then it'll be more 50-50. But right now I got Virgil Ortiz. But yeah, this is the fight I want to see, and I've been calling for it for a long time.
I think that Boots and his people are rubbing their hands like Birdman. As soon as you said the thing that you said about he needs a few more fights, now you just bought him 2 or 3 more tomato cans that he can fight, and then make the promise of facing Virgil Ortiz. By that time, Virgil Ortiz probably be trying to go to 160. So then he don't have to fight him in. Anyway, I digress. What about you, Sheldon? What do you think about this right here? The fact that he's fired up all of a sudden to face Virgil Ortiz. He could have fought Virgil Ortiz before, but now he's fired up.
I don't believe it. I don't think the fight's gonna happen. I think they're gonna find a way to wiggle out of it. Now, don't get me wrong. If he does come straight out of 47 and go straight to 54, and his first fight is Virgil Ortiz, man, respect to you. I dig that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't believe it's gonna happen because Virgil Ortiz is a full balanced breakfast. You got to bring your knife, your fork, your bib, and you might need a doggy bag. It's a full meal over there. So I don't know. I would rather, if I was moving him, I would put him in there maybe with a Madrimov or something first. But if you go straight to Virgil Ortiz, that deserves respect. Now, if the fight happens, I got Virgil. I don't think Virgil will stop him. I think Virgil will outwork him because I don't know what's gonna happen. When Boots gets to round 9 or 10 in a really tough fight, because I've never seen him in that before. I've seen him get to 9 and bang the dude out of there, but the dude he was fighting, he had beat him up from 1 till 9. So that's the difference. When you in there punching and getting punched on and it's nip and tuck. Because one thing about Virgil's all gas, no brakes. Virgil don't know how to slow down. So he coming. You got to put him down or stop him, but he going to keep coming at you. So I want to see what Boots does with that type of adversity at 54. But if the fight happens, I got Virgil by decision. I think it'll be a split decision, but I got him by decision because Boots is talented, even though I don't like some of the things people say about him, the moves that he makes. You cannot deny the boy's talent. Boots is talented, but I just think Virgil for a first test at 54 might be a little too much.
He might be too much, period. Again, we just don't, the verdict is still out on Boots. I just think that this is a situation where, to the public and to save face, I'm pointing you in a direction of hope. I work with people like that, where you will have, let's say, for instance, you go to a professional development. In the professional development, they're talking to you about what we're going to do next year. And we're going to start these initiatives and this, and it sounds great. But then in your mind, it sounds good. But then you think about it, it's like, man, we haven't done anything now. Like, we still need to take care of this. And you talking about next year? Dude, you have Virgil Ortiz, you had the opportunity to face him before, but you know what you said when they offered it to you? I'm trying to unify. So you had it then. But then you saying that you could fight Norman. But then you saying that the weight is an issue now. So then if that was the case, why you didn't fight Ortiz if you knew that you were having weight issues and this fight is the one that everybody wants to see? You excited about it. You not making sense is what I'm saying. And I don't buy it, man. Until you go ahead
So
and lace.
basically, so let me get this straight. Basically, what you're saying is the man is ducking top competition. That's what you're saying.
I've never seen him address somebody who really wants to fight him. I'm sitting up here right now with him thinking that he wanted to fight Terrence Crawford. Then come to find out that he didn't.
You forgot that he ducked that fight twice? Did you forget that part?
Yeah,
And he moved out the whole sanctioning body to get away from that fight?
Yeah, I didn't know. That's what I'm saying. Like this is becoming a pattern, man. So anyway, Ryan Garcia, man, recently he's calling out Devin Haney all of a sudden for a White House fight. He wants to fight in DC. It's supposed to be a White House fight, and then Haney fires back on the drug testing and things of that nature. What are your thoughts about this, man? Like this doesn't make any sense. If they were going to fight, he could have tried to set a fight up with Devin Haney even after the loss to Rolly. Couldn't he have like done it then? Why now the fact that Devin Haney has this agreement to face Brian Norman now and everybody's salivating over that fight, now you want to go ahead and call him out. Now, what are your thoughts? What do you think about that, Ty?
Yeah, I think Ryan just been all over the place again, man. We've seen him in his position before. Now I can definitely see him calling out if he won his last fight, but he didn't win his last fight, and he looked bad. I mean, Devin didn't have the best performance either, but I mean, he got the W, he got the job done. Ryan didn't. So yeah, I don't get it. Like you said, he's got a fight lined up with a champion in a new weight class. So Devin Haney, he's doing his thing, man. He's not ducking no competition. He's fighting the best. Ryan's coming off a loss, and maybe that loss is affecting him, and maybe he just feel like he's trying to get some attention to himself by, just doing all these rants. So, man, I don't know, and I don't like it.
Talk to me, Sean.
Ryan Garcia thinks he's as big a star as Tank Davis. He thinks that if he mentions somebody, they're just going to drop whatever they're doing just to come fight him because it's a big bag. What he doesn't realize is that it's only a big bag if Turkey decides he wants to pay for it. Because Golden Boy obviously ain't giving you no big bags. And, he thinks his star power is bigger than what it is. In all actuality, Devin Haney has already made a verbal agreement. Turkey has already come out and said they're fighting in November. So if I'm Haney, I ignore him. Or I tell him, after I take care of my business in November, then we can talk. But other than that, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. And if I do fight you, I'm going to need 365 drug tests to fight you, or I'm not fighting you because you're a cheater.
These dudes are haters, man. I'm going to tell you, like, for some reason, they do not want Devin to shine. They don't want, they're afraid to lose to him, hence Ryan being on PEDs. Hence Teofimo Lopez ducking $11 million to fight him. Tank always figuring out ways to avoid fighting him. Like all of those, and Shakur, when he had his biggest victory, Shakur all in the ring and all of that type of stuff. Let the man enjoy his victory, man. And you want to go ahead and steal his shine. Like all of those, for some reason, they do not want to see him be successful or have any limelight. Like they're trying to steal the light from his shine. And it's unfortunate. And in this situation, Mr. Garcia, again, regardless of what happened in the Rolly fight, like I said, they still could have fought. It really wouldn't have made any difference because I'm going to tell you what would have happened. If they sign a fight after Ryan's loss and the performance that Devin had that some people were giving him a lot of grief for, you would have forgot all of that stuff once they start having those press conferences and they start asking questions about what happened in the first fight. Is he going to be able to get his revenge? Is Ryan just has his number and all that type of stuff? People would have forgot all about that, and that would have been a really big fight. So you could have did that even after the Rolly loss. But now, all of a sudden, that there's huge buzz about this Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney. Now you want to enter your name into the hat. No, sir. Like you said, my thing, if I was there, just ignore this dude at this particular point. Until you're ready to be serious about fighting me again, I'm not entertaining anything that you got to say. And that's how I would handle it. Now, this is a big week, man. That's why I said when Vail, decided that he wasn't going to be able to make it. And again, ain't no biggie. I had to come on here, man, because there's just so many different topics to discuss. You know, get your water, man. We got about 6 or 7 more of these, man. So get your little sip, stay hydrated, man. You know, I don't want you to go ahead and you know, fall off because we about the mid part of the fight. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want you to get tired like AJ be doing sometimes, get knocked the heck out. Real quick, I just want to get your thoughts on are you big on my main man right here, Andy Cruz, Ty?
Yeah, I like the direction they got him going in. He doesn't have a lot of fights under his belt. So yeah, they gotta just keep moving him, you know, keep building out those fights, and you know, he can go after the bigger fish. But you know, he had a nice stoppage in his last fight against the Japanese guy. So but yeah, I like what they're doing for him so far, but I want to see more.
Just want to see more. What about you, Sheldon? What do you think about Andy Cruz? Is he one of them ones?
I think Andy Cruz has 5 fights. He ain't fought nobody, and I think they need to put him in there with somebody before they start rating him like he's this guy or he's a top 10 guy or he's this and the third. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't fought anybody. Right. I don't know what he is.
That's that. So that leads me to this right here. What do you think about them putting him against Murray Tyler on that November fight card with Dev and Norman Jr.? You like that?
Yeah, that would shut me up. Put him in there with Muay They rate Muay Thai high. I don't rate him that high, but they rate Raymond Muay Raimundo Muay Thai. They think he's one of the guys in the division. So put Andy Cruz in there with him. Let's see what he got.
So then, who would you favor based on what you've seen so far?
Raimundo Muay Thai.
Okay. What about you, Ty?
Yeah, for right now, I'll just have to say Muay because, like I said, Andy Cruz doesn't have many fights under his belt. But, I mean, he's got a good team around him. You know, he's in the Boots gym. You know, Bozy Ennis is his trainer. So he's got a solid team. But I think they're still, you know, he's still in the moving stage. I think he'll get better and better after each fight. I think the Martala fight could just be a little early. But, man, I wouldn't mind seeing it. But I think I would go with Martala. I think it just may be just a little too early. But, like I said, Cruz, he's winning. And hopefully we'll get a big fight with him soon to see if he's real deal or not.
Yeah, unfortunately, his son left the division, so he won't be able to get that fight. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Andy Cruz to know what he can and can't do. With the little bit I did see of him, I think that he has potential, but he's getting up there in age as well because you know how those Cubans, they kind of turn pro kind of late. But we'll see. That's a good fight right there. That would be for the IBF strap right there too. Also, Better Beeve and Bivol, man, the trilogy is going to be moved to Russia. Both fighters prioritize lucrative hometown payday over, you know, being out there in Saudi Arabia. Would that favor anybody if the fight is in Russia, do you think, or not? Or it doesn't really matter with those two?
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know why they want it over there, but yeah, I would rather see it somewhere else. I mean, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, is there a lot of big fights that's happened in Russia?
Well, that's where they're from.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I'm sure it'll sell out. Then sell out fast. Tickets probably sell out fast. The stadium, wherever it would be, would sell out fast. So, yeah, I mean, that can work in their favor, like depending on what venue they decide to have it at up there.
Yes, I think the thing is because with the politics of what's going on in Russia, they don't have a lot of big events like that. So they're probably willing to overpay to get those guys back to fight in Russia. And that'll be a huge event, like I said, because they just don't have much of people just throwing events out there because of the politics. And so that's probably why they're able to, you know, prioritize the bread. What about you, Sean? Do you think that is going to play a factor with favor either guy, or is it doesn't matter?
No, I won't favor either guy. They both Russians. Bivels from up there, Siberia, and Medvedev is by Moscow. So they both Russian. So it's not going to favor either one of them. But you understand what you said is right on point, Wilton. This is why you think Turkey agreed so easily, because they probably willing to overpay for the fight, like you said.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorites, man, he's gonna get back into action. They have you ever heard of this guy called Fernando Martinez? Because Bam Rodriguez is looking to face him in a unification, or in a unification before the other guy that he'll face, Kafu. And some people saying that this is a risky move to try to fight both of those guys, or at least fight Martinez before Kafu. I ain't even going to even ask anything about that. I like Bam, and I like the fact that he's willing to take on whoever it is that they put in front of him. If that is risky, I think that's right up his alley, though, because Bam is just one of those dudes. Also, Daniel Jacobs, he's retired, but they're thinking about putting him in with Jake. Do you see Daniel Jacobs doing the same thing as like the Mike Tysons and the Chavez Juniors, who were like unwilling to exchange and things like that with Jake? Do you think this will be a serious match? And then if it is,
No.
what do you think?
Everybody who fights Jake Paul is gonna throw the fight. Everybody.
So it's nothing to even discuss. Fixed fight. What about
the last 2 rounds? You saw the last 2 rounds of the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight, right?
I did, but I don't know if
Robert didn't even talk. Why did you say anything? When you clearly saw when that man let his hands go, he's about to knock Jake Paul out, and he backed up off him like, "Oh, hold up, I'm tripping." Yeah, I'm cool with Jake Paul.
They got Jake at number 14 now. You know what I'm saying? What about you, Ty? You agree with that, or you think that that would be, or do you think that the fight's been fixed, Ty?
I don't know how I feel about this. Like Jacobs, I mean, years ago he was good, but like once he started fighting a better competition and everything, that's when he started losing. But I mean, this is a guy that arguably lost to Gabe Rosado. You know what I mean? He arguably lost to a journeyman. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I mean, Jake Paul's a big dude. He's doing his thing, but of course, Danny Jacobs has the real experience. So I think this will be more of a fight that would favor Danny Jacobs, because of his true boxing experience. He's been in there with the big names, Triple G, Canelo. So his resume is solid. He's fighting those big names. So I would favor more Danny Jacobs, but like I said, man, Jake Paul's doing his thing, and he's a big guy. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul gets the job done and wins.
You talking about if Danny Jacobs legitimately fights, you think Jake will beat him?
Nah, I don't think Jake would beat him.
Oh, okay. Like I said, that Julio fight, that's when I was like, dang, like even Julio, who I'm not that impressed with, just when he started, putting them punches together, Jake didn't have any answers for that. And I'm like, dang, like a real boxer, fighting these YouTube dudes is such a huge separation, if even at whatever stage that boxer is in his career. So I think a serious fight would definitely get busy on old Jake. I just hope at some, I don't know. They making money, so if it's not broke, why fix it? People still tuning in to those fights. Also, man, this is what I really wanted to get to. So enough of the shenanigans, man. David Benavidez, he had 2 options. He could have fought Callum Smith, or he could have fought Anthony Yarde. So he set the face. He took Anthony Yarde smoke. So they set the fight in November. He's facing the dangerous gatekeeper. Are you kind of disappointed that he selected Yarde over Callum Smith? Which one would you have preferred to see?
I would say Callum Smith. I really preferred that one, but as far as Yarde, I'm not mad at the fight, but I still kind of feel that this is easy work for Benavidez. Like Yarde, okay, yes, he got the physique. He looks tough. We've seen the videos of him working out. He's a workhorse, hits the bag, got crazy speed. But when he gets in that ring and the guys are actually hitting back, it's a different story. And Benavidez, man, this guy, his name speaks for itself, the Mexican monster. He comes forward. His pressure's nonstop, punches and bunches, and like he's not going to let up. You know what I'm saying? He's just going to keep coming forward, and I think that pressure is going to be too much for Yarde. So Yarde might have his moments here and there, but I don't think he's really got anything that can really hurt Benavidez. So I see Benavidez just walking this guy down, catching him, and Yarde is either I don't even see him getting knocked out. I see him in a rough stopping it because he's just getting battered and he can't take the punishment. So I got David Benavidez by mid-round TKO stoppage.
Yeah. What about you, Sheldon? You agree? I don't know if Sheldon's still there with us, but prior to what I saw in the last fight with Yard, him and Lyndon Arthur, he just looked like he didn't like what he had at his best. He doesn't have it anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think that with him and his trainer, they've reached their ceiling. And if he was going to get better, then he should have left that guy, or at least embedded somebody else into his camp, as opposed to just staying with the same methods that his trainer was doing. It's a lot of stuff that they don't do. It's kind of peculiar approaches that they take to their training. And like I said, I just think that he needs to add on somebody who's bringing some other dimensions to his game. Because even now, when he's throwing some of those hard shots that he used to land before, they didn't even look as hard against Lyndon Arthur at this particular stage of his career. And I'm not sure if his punch resistance is what it was before the fights that he had against Kovalev, the Crusher, and then also Arthur Beterbiev. So in this one, I think he's getting a washed up Anthony Yard as well. And Callum Smith, even though he's declined, he still has more skills. And in certain parts, before that fight gets to like the 10th, 11th round, he still has some destructive power too that you have to be mindful of. And I don't think that that's going to exist. Yard is going to be right there to be hit. And I can see that fight probably 5, 6, 7 rounds. He'll be up out of there. Sheldon, you there with us or no?
Yeah, I'm back. I was talking to somebody. Yeah, the problem is, let me give you the game on the Callum Smith fight. The reason the Callum Smith fight didn't happen is because Callum Smith, number one, is in line for the winner of Beterbiev Bivol. Number two, he wanted more money to come to America to fight. They couldn't agree on the money. So when they offered to fight to Anthony Yard, he took the money they were offering Callum Smith. That's why the fight happened. Number two, I agree that Callum Smith probably has a better chance of beating Benavidez than Yard does, because Callum Smith throws straight punches, whereas Yard tends to wing a little bit. Number three, Callum Smith has better stamina than Anthony Yard. We all know Anthony Yard gasses out around 5 or 6. So, like you said, around 7 or 8, Benavidez is probably going to get him up out of there because he's going to gas. But I would have rather seen the Callum Smith fight, but this is a good fight. Anthony Yard will be dangerous for the first 4 or 5 rounds. If he clips Benavidez, we've seen Benavidez clipped. We've seen him hurt. Maybe he can get him out of there. But if Benavidez is what I think he is, he'll weather the storm and get this dude out of there anywhere between 7 and 8.
Yeah, I just, when I saw that Anthony Yard, Lyndon Arthur 3 fight, he looked bad, man. He just looked like a built dude out there winging punches that with no skill. You know, you see a dude on the streets and they just like they built up with a little legs, but then they got the bigger upper torso. You know what I'm saying? And they just throwing some punches. Like, man, that dude right there, all he is just a big brute. And that's how he looked in that last fight. And then on top of that, he didn't look as powerful as he did in the past. But it just seemed like he's kind of becoming a shell of himself, you know, as well. Also, Turkey Al-Shihi announces the Abdullah Mason-Sam Noakes fight for the vacant WBO lightweight title on that massive November card. Also this week, there was leaked footage of the Abdullah Mason dominating Floyd Schofield. Now, they didn't show the whole sparring session, but the little bit that I saw, I'm going to tell you what I saw. I don't know if you fellas saw the or seen it. I was impressed, regardless if it wasn't the whole thing. What I was able to see is that if Abdullah Mason wanted to just box somebody, he could do that. Like the way the approach he was taking, and his corner was telling him to do certain things, use your defense, use this, do that. And he was doing those things, and he was doing it with such fluidity. You know, I was impressed with that. Again, I don't know what the whole thing was as far as what was going on in the previous rounds. Kid Austin had his take in terms of he said he was a 4-round fighter at the time. He said that he already had sparred, several other guys, and then he ended up in the ring with him. But he was saying that they need to release the whole thing, in order for you to get a better picture. But based on what I saw a difference in skill. I don't know. Did you fellas see that YouTube clip?
Nah, I didn't see it, but I know this is a fight that the fans been calling for recently. So I mean, I hope we can get it.
Yes, sir. Who would you lean towards if they did fight?
That's a tricky one, man. I have to lean with Abdullah Mason. It just seems like he's getting more fights. It's like every 3 months, every 3 or 4 months, we see Abdullah Mason in there. And like he just had his, main event. He just had his first main event, and he got a stoppage win. So it's like he's getting better and better with each fight. We seen him in trouble and taste the canvas, but he didn't lose composure, and he still stopped his opponent. So I like Abdullah Mason's chances. He's a power puncher, and of course we just seen Schofield get an impressive knockout. To some people, it wasn't impressive because some people said Tevin Farmer was on his way out. So I favor Abdullah Mason at this point because he just seems like he's more active, and he's definitely taking advantage of the big opportunities in front of him. So I would go with Schofield. I mean, not Schofield, Mason.
You agree? So,
nah, he's off.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I would lean towards Mason because he seems to have more things that he can do. Just based on the highlights that I've seen of both guys, Watchcom seems a little bit more one-dimensional, and he seems less skilled than Mason. So when you have situations like that, then I have to go with the more skilled guys. Both of them are young. They both are talented. Both can crack. And with those quick reflexes and things like that, I don't think that Abdullah Mason, unless he just tried to do what he did in the fight when he did get caught, because he was just sitting there kind of like banging it out with the dude, and then he would drop his hands slightly, and then the dude would catch him. And like I said, I think he learned from that when he started having conversations with people like Shakur, and they were telling him, like, you can't just come out, kind of like Tevin Farmer, you got to loosen the guy up a little bit before you drop some of them heavy bombs on him. And he listened, and the next 2-3 fights, he's been progressing. But he has a lot of talent, man. You get a chance, take a look at that sparring session. And you gotta know it's edited. I'm not taking it like looking at that like, oh, he can beat him because of that. It's just some of the little tricks that he was doing. I didn't know he had that in his bag, and he can. Now, a couple other topics, Ty, that we can go ahead and close this one out. One thing, Roy Jones, he's saying in the fight that's going to take place in September, the Crawford and Canelo, he's saying that Crawford don't excessively move against Canelo. You need to stay there and get his respect. The other thing is, for one, do you agree with that? What's the approach? If you were Crawford, would you be in the pocket a little bit more and getting Canelo's respect and just being too quick and evasive, that manner, or would you like stick and move more if you're Crawford? My other question is this: what round do you think Bud is going to sleep, sir?
Oh man, I think Crawford, he should mix it up. I think he, at some points in the fight, he's going to be standing in front of Canelo, showing him, hey, I ain't here to back down. I'm here, this is a big opportunity. I'm not here to back down. I'm here to take it to you. I'm here to stand in front of you, shut those critics up. Then on the other hand, I could see him using his footwork. I mean, this is a different weight, so those punches might not feel the same in the lower weight classes. So like if he gets hit with a shot, he might be, whoa, dang, okay, let me reset, let me go to a different plan, let me move a little bit, come out in the next round, then do a different game plan. So I see Bud doing a little bit of both. You know what I mean? I can't see him, just coming in there with one game plan and just standing in front of Canelo for 12 runs. Now, I definitely see him digging into his toolbox and using more things. So I see him doing a little bit of everything, but definitely not standing in front of Canelo for 12 rounds. Absolutely not.
He's gonna be there. He's gonna be right smack dab there. I don't see him fighting any other way. Like, what does Bud do? Like, outside of only time I've seen him do that was against Postal when he was darting around a little bit, and then towards the end, he was willing to exchange with Postal. I just don't think that's in his toolkit anymore, especially at 168. Now, I agree with Roy in this sense that you don't want to be doing too much excessive moving because then you're going to run into the risk of what happened to Charlo is that he was moving too much and he got tired and he got fatigued, but also he had a silent agreement as well that, okay, after I got knocked down, I'm not really trying to, win the fight anymore. It's just more so I'm trying to survive. And I don't want him to put himself in a situation like that. I don't think Bud has that in his mind to ever not think that he's capable of winning, because I think that that's one of his biggest attributes is that he hates to lose. I'm seeing this dude around wrestling everybody. He was trying to wrestle Big Baby Miller.
Yeah, I've seen that. So that's another thing. Like, he's got wrestling experience, so but still, this is 168. So even if he wanted to move a little bit more, it may be harder for him because this is a higher weight. You're not 2 weight classes down, and you can move a little better. Maybe a little hard, move him a little better, and plus he might get winded a little more. So it's a lot of questions that play in my head for this fight. But yeah, like I said, I definitely don't see him in there just with one game plan. I see him mixing it up.
But check this out, Todd. See, this is what have me questioning what's going to happen in this fight. And I mentioned in previous episodes my perception of Crawford's resume. Again, great fighter, but to me, even though Canelo is waning, he's a little long in the tooth. It's still the things that you mentioned. The extra weight, not only for Crawford, but you fighting a dude who's used to fighting at 168. Even though he's a smaller 168, he still can hit. He's still, strong as an ox as well. Not necessarily, I don't think, in terms of physically wrestling and things like that, but he is strong, that lower body strength that Canelo has, and he wings those shots. When I looked at Crawford against Madrimov, that's what concerns me, because Madrimov was landing some of those right hands on him, and it was consistent. The other thing that concerns me is the fact that when he fought against Errol Spence, his cousin or whoever, Bernie the boxer, whatever he is to him, friend, I don't know, he said that going into the fight, like Lee going into the ring, his game plan, yes, it was a game plan. He said he didn't have one. He's trying to figure out what it is he was going to. He said, I'll figure it out once I get in there. Can he do that at 168 against Canelo? I don't know. I don't know if that'll work, in a fight when you got somebody who isn't as compromised as some of the other people he's faced. So we'll see. I think Bud will probably go to sleep about 8-9 rounds to answer that question.
So you said he didn't have a. So you said he didn't have a game plan when he fought Spence. He said he just gonna go in there and figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. I said Crawford, to me, he's like a guy that's like, he's like a computer. He just downloads information in the ring. Kind of like Floyd. Floyd just he just figures it out. So yeah, but like you said, man, this is a different weight. Of course, Canelo isn't the same guy. He ain't getting those big stoppages that he once was getting, but he's still a dangerous guy. He's still a big dude. So, I mean, he can hurt Crawford for sure. But so, yeah. As far as you saying him not having a game plan here, figured it out. Like I said, I think he's going to have to go in there with a game plan. He's just going to have to. Like I said, this is a different weight, big guy. He's got power. So, yeah, I can't just see him going in there without a game plan. So, we'll see.
You would think. That's what I'm saying. I would think as long as him and Errol Spence, they had the back and forth, this side, that side, and they were supposed to be on the collision course, and all of that time that they getting ready to prepare for each other, you would have thought that he would have had a game plan for him. Like they were at it longer than Canelo and Crawford were, or was. So that's what I'm saying. Like in a situation like that, will it be the same thing? Because a lot of times, if those are your habits in terms of when it's time to, come up with a product or something like that. If your normal tendency is for you to procrastinate and then just figure it out, when things are due, then that typically is who you are, especially when you did it in the biggest fight of your career. So I don't know. We'll see, man. But it's going to be interesting. Like I said, 8th, 9th round. I think Bud going to be looking up. He's going to be on his pockets looking up at the lights. You understand me? Also, Eddie Hearn, man, you get a chance to see Dave Allen. Somebody mentioned it in the chat a couple of weeks ago when we were saying that Brian Norman had the best knockout of the year against Sasaki. They talked about David Allen's knockout, and when I went back to go check it out, they might be right. I think that knockout by David Allen might supersede the Jin Sasaki knockout because it was like the last seconds of the fight, and then it was just a brutal knockout. But anywho, David Allen is somebody that Eddie Hearn wants Wilder to fight in England, not Joshua. Did you see the David Allen fight? Do you know who he is?
Nah, he just sounds familiar. I gotta look up a highlight or something, but yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was a DAZN fight. He was like it was a rematch, I think, that he had with the guy, and he ended up, like I say, putting him on his pockets, but he knocked him clean out. But anyway, he has like 7 losses and whatnot. But one thing he can do, he still can crack. But they're trying to give Wilder $15 million. Would you take that?
Yeah, because of course everybody wanted Wilder and Joshua. We wanted this years ago, way before both guys started taking losses. So I still think the fans definitely want to see it. I still think it's a big money fight. But with Wilder, with him coming off the losses that he just suffered, and he just won his fight. He's gotta get built back up slowly. So I mean, he's still almost at the end of his career. So I'm 100% cool with that. 100% cool.
With him fighting who? The what's called? With him fighting Allen?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the route he wants to go, if that's the route his team feels comfortable with. You said he got 7 losses, but like we seen guys with a whole bunch of losses still win fights. So if that's the route he wants to go, I'm all for it. Is he rated in any sanctioning bodies? Like what's his ranking?
I don't know if he that ranked, but you see all them fans out there. See, here's the end of the fight right here. And so check out. Wilder at his best, I would say go ahead and get that 15 million. But Wilder just looks so shaky now. And Allen, like, he's not the greatest fighter in the world, but one thing, like I said, he does have is he has that, what my boy used to say, man, he got that powder. Watch this. That left, I think it's gonna be a left.
Wow. Oh, okay. Wow.
Do you think Wilder can handle that right there?
With those, when I look at his last fights and like with the knockout loss to Zhang and all that, I mean, he don't want to taste that again, man. So they got to be strategic about who they want him to fight. Now, if they feel comfortable, like he just want to fight, just had a stoppage, they feel comfortable, want to throw him in there. Oh, okay, go for it. But yeah, I think they still need to be strategic about this, like, because the guy's chin isn't the best, and he's older now, so we got to keep that in the back of our minds.
Right, but the only thing, my bad, what you gonna say?
Nah, like we don't want to see another highlight reel Wilder hurt, laying on his back. We don't want to see that again. So yeah, man. If it was me, man, I'm taking the guy who ain't got no power. Yeah, I want to see my boy go out like that again, man. So
he in the heavyweight division. There ain't nobody around like that.
True. It's the big division. So I mean, one punch can have you wobbling doing the Sankey leg. So it's all up to Wilder's team, man. What do you feel like? What's best for him?
It's what he got to do. Wilder just has to make this decision. Okay. Sure. Do I take the 15 million? And then you got the upside. If he wins, then he probably gonna get that AJ fight. But also, if let's say I take 4 million against a lesser opponent or somebody that's risky, I end up losing. Only got 4 million. You might as well go get that 15 messing with Dave. I might say he's a power puncher, but at the same time, he'll be there to be hit by Wilder. That's for sure. It's just a matter of who's going to land first.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I seen just a few days ago, Jared Anderson posted on his IG story. He's fighting Wild out. Now I don't think it's official, not like that. I just think maybe he's pressing for that fight. But Jared Anderson posted he's fighting Wilder in like September or October or something like that. It may September, November in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And then we got Big Baby Miller, who's calling for Wilder. So would you be interested in seeing him fight any of the two, big babies at this point in his career?
It might be a little bit much for him because again, you talking about both big babies?
Yeah. So Anderson posted on his story they fighting. And Atlantic City, or maybe he just wants that fight in Atlantic City, as maybe it's a card on that day, and he just wants to be on that card, or whatever the case may be. And then Miller just made a video of himself talking about Wilder. So it looks like both Andersons want that fight. So I mean,
if I was Wilder, I would take the little Miller. I mean, the little big baby.
Yeah,
he's a little bit more. I would say vulnerable because that tendency to back, and he's smaller.
Yeah.
But listen, it depends on how much money they're talking about. Again, I would go get that 15 million messing around over there with Allen, and then I would entertain. I'll just look at the money at this particular point. But to me, the Allen fight, if you're looking at him right there, look at how wide those punches are. Don't you think he can get in between some of those shots with that big right hand?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's what I would do for the champ. Okay. But whatever the champ decides to do, man, it's all on him. Like BG used to say back in the day. I just want to point out, man, your boy they talking about the DHS announces arrest of Mexican boxer Julio Cesar Chavez for deportation, citing organized crime and cartel ties. So that might have something to do with his lackluster performance against Jake Paul, trying to get the money. But also Mexico is wanting them to send him home. Are you surprised by what you heard here?
Yeah, of course that was news after the Jake Paul fight, but I was hearing they was actually trying to get him, before the fight, but maybe they're just waiting till his fight was over and all that. But I mean, I was kind of shocked that it happened right after the fact, but yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% surprised though. I mean, it's nice full of surprises, you know what I mean? You never know. You never know what we're going to hear out here, man. So.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, it makes a clear picture. Just like that basketball player from the Pistons who got caught, Malik Beasley. Like he's under investigation for gambling. And then they went. Are you familiar with that story?
Nah, I'm not familiar with that.
Basketball player, man. The dude is making, I think, in the NBA, he made over $60 million. And they showed some of the people that he owed. Like he owed this one barbershop like $45,000 or something like that. And it's like it's either 20-something because it's different charges from different places. Like a barbershop you owe like either 20-something thousand or $40-something thousand to. But then they start going back and showing you some of the games that he was playing in, and some of the behavior of him didn't make any sense. It was one game in particular. The point spread was 9.5. And so the game was almost over. So I think they were whatever it is that they were losing by, they needed one more point to cover the spread. So it's like 3-4 seconds left in the game. Game is over. Most people just like, throw the ball up or just hand it to the referee because it's you can't win. He grabs the rebound, runs down real fast, and lays the ball up as if he's trying to cover the spread.
Wow.
It didn't make any sense. So now it makes sense once he's under investigation for gambling. But to me, the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight last week makes more sense. Like, I'm just trying to get this money. I won't, hurt you or anything like that. I definitely won't, I'll make it seem like I'm trying, but, so you can go ahead and get a victory. last thing I'm gonna say is, they're known for that down there. Like those guys who go to Tijuana and pad their records. That's what they're known for. And I can send you a link to a guy who went down there and got like 20-something victories and 20-something knockouts. And every time he goes somewhere else to fight, he gets his head knocked off because he's been patting his record by going down there to Mexico. But anywho, man, your boy after last week is ranked number 14. He's officially, the WBA. One more win, he's in the top 10. Do you agree that Jake should be that high up in the WBA rankings based on the level of his face?
Absolutely not. Like I said, he fought. Like I said, Shabazz has a lot of experience on his belt, but over 50, 60 fights, something like that. But like I said, I wasn't high on him. Like I said, he lost to Anderson Silva, who's a non-boxer years ago. And like Jake Paul beat the old Mike Tyson. This is Mike Tyson, 60 years old, man. Come on. And then,
but he beat Silva.
Yeah, I know. But
he lost Fury.
Yeah, so the like one legit boxer that was like really active, he came up short against. So I mean, how do you get ranked that high and you lost to like one legit boxer that you really fought? I mean, talking about Mike Tyson or Julio Cesar Chavez. We ain't talking about them. Like the one boxer you really did fight, you lose to. But okay, you knocked out the UFC guys, MMA guys, all those guys you fought. But nah, come on, I mean that's a joke. Maybe he got moved up because he got some power in this game with being a promoter, putting on these great cards, signing fighters. But him, as far as being ranked that high, I mean, that's a joke, man. Yeah, it wasn't like he beat a champion and won a couple straps or something like that. I mean, it's a joke to me.
He hasn't even beaten a legit cruiserweight. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody that recognizable that's an actual cruiserweight. Like he fight dudes at the cruiserweight limit, but not actual cruiserweight fighters who are currently campaigning at cruiserweight. And so, no, you can't, you shouldn't do that. But, as they say, money talks. And so if they can go ahead and get Jake some of them sanctioning fees from Jake, some of these events, then they're going to be in the money, Second to last topic, man. Chris Eubank versus Conor being rematched. Fans are slamming this as a meaningless commercial stunt on September 20th. Now, my question is this. They got the same stipulations in this fight as they had last time. Eubank has to try to make 160 again, and they have the 10-pound rehydration clause. Is that going to impact the outcome of this fight, man? Him trying to do it for the second time?
It could. I think it really could because, like I said, like to me, the first fight, in my opinion, you could argue it was fight of the year. Like both guys were letting their hands go, throwing punches nonstop. But like Eubank looked like he was on his last leg, man. Looked like he was gonna go out any second. So I mean, like I was like, dang. Even Conor Ben looked tired of some of those rounds. So I mean, don't put yourself in a position to be hurt, man. Get winded, and you can pass out. End up getting taken out on the stretcher in the ambulance. So I mean, you got to be strategic. But yeah, I think it can really affect him for sure. But like I said, he looked like he was on his last leg in some of those rounds.
Yeah, man. That's not even healthy. Like he can really seriously get hurt, trying to do it one more time. Hopefully, like the commission. Did you see how he looked when he was trying to make weight?
Yeah,
like he looked like a dead man.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it looked like sad in the face. Yeah, man. So I don't. Like I said, I'm all for the fight, but all these clauses and all that such stuff, man, that's just a little too much. But.
And then on top of that, check this out, Ty. Your boy right here. After who is Conor being beaten? Like, do you know anybody he's beaten?
Nah, not really. I just know he was always pushing for the Boots fight, but nah, I'm not familiar with anybody he's really beaten.
So how does he have the audacity to set $15 million price for Ryan Garcia fight? Citing battered loss to Rolly. So he's saying that since he looked so bad against Rolly, he can only fight him for $15 million. How do dudes even have the audacity to say something like this? Who have you beaten, my guy?
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let's go ahead and wrap this. That's the last question of the day, man. Anything that you got, certainly appreciate you, man, for stepping in, since Vail is out today. I just know that I called on you because I know you have an insatiable appetite to discuss the sweet science. So I wanted to make sure that I called on you. And I know that you're very knowledgeable. You got anything coming up by way of interviews and things like that? Before you answer that, I do want anybody that's listening that does interviews with boxers, current boxers. This is the guy that you want to interview those particular trainers, fighters, or anybody that has something big coming up. Because unlike some of the videos that I've been seeing of fathers who've been going on these shows, if you interview with this guy, my guy, the legend Ty Finney, he won't be all in the videos. He won't be interrupting, you when you're trying to make your points, So I just wanted to point that out. But do you have anything coming up, as far as
appreciate everything you said. So the one interview that I just recently did, like I said, it was just weird that what happened. Like I said, I got booted off, but me and the guy rescheduled. His name is Aaron Thompson, so we should be pushing for Tuesday or Wednesday. So he's 154 pounder, 5 wins with like 3 KOs, I believe. So we're gonna make that happen. And I want to say huge shout out to Cam Walker. Just fought last night on Black Line Network. His dad is his trainer, so salute to Cam Walker and his father Marcus Walker. They just fought and got I believe it was a 3rd round stoppage victory on Black Prime. So be on the lookout for him. His story is interesting because not only is he only 25 years old, he's also got a master's degree. So that's very interesting, for a fighter that young to have a master's degree. So, he's got a backup plan, once boxing's over. So shout out to Cam Walker and his father, Marcus Walker.
Yes, sir. You ever listen to an interview and that's what be happening? Like dudes be all in they'll ask a question and then they'll be interrupting while they trying to answer the question. You be like, dude, you interviewing them. We want to hear from the person you interviewing. And it be getting so frustrating. But shout out to you, man. Keep up the good work. We're gonna end with you a little hip hop question, man. I'm gonna skip the R&B because we've been on here for quite a while, and want to enjoy a little bit of this Sunday. So I'm gonna go to the hip hop question, man. Are you familiar with some of my groups were 8 Ball and MJG, UGK. Are you familiar with those groups from the side?
Yeah, just a little bit more. I would say more UGK. I do like Project Pat. So
okay.
I would say more UGK though.
Chicken. Yeah. Chicken. Okay. So we'll go ahead and excuse you from that. But 8 Ball and MJG, man, you might have to, go back in and listen to their catalog because them boys was bad, man. At one point, they were my favorites, at one point, in the rap game. I want to say around 94, 93 or so, they have really polished their game. But I do want to end on this one right here. I don't think I asked you this one before. And these groups were this probably before your time though. Like you're a Papoose fan. You understand what I'm saying? So you kind of came to the game. But out of all of these CDs right here, are you familiar with these CDs first and foremost?
Which one is on the bottom left? Who's that?
Man, if you're not familiar with that Midnight Marauders, you got to get up on that Midnight Marauders. That's the Tribe Called Quest. You wasn't a Tribe fan?
Yeah, Tribe Called Quest. Yeah, I love them, man. I don't really know the how. I actually had one of their when I was younger. I actually had one of their cassettes, man. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, I like them, man.
Okay.
Tribe Called Quest is a group, yeah. I think they had a song, The Booty. I forget. I just know they had some nice beats and everything too.
Yeah. So did you listen to like any of the other guys like the Bone Thugs, the DMXs, and the Nas's?
Yeah, man. Of course, Nas and DMX. For DMX, The Flesh of My Flesh. It's Dark and Hell is Hot, man. That's a classic, man. That's me. That's definitely not going off the list, man.
Okay,
so I see he says DMX is staying, period. So I agree with that right there.
Okay. Which other two is staying?
Man, that's tricky, man. It would have to be between Bone Thugs and the Tribe Called Quest. But oh man, that's tricky, man. You get me with the questions. I hate to do it, but I'll just say a Tribe Called Quest. Well,
Why would you?
I like them. Don't get me wrong. I like them. But if I had to eliminate one, like I said, it's between Bone Thugs and the Tribe Called Quest. So I just had to say a Tribe Called Quest. Or even Bone Thugs, between one of them, man. But yeah, Nas a damn Mets fan.
Yeah, those classes right there, man. I you know, if I just, you know, say a few things, DMX with that passion that he rapped with, and you felt him, you know what I'm saying? He was kind of like a Pac in that way where he rapped, where you felt the stuff that he was saying, you know, it made sense. Also, DMX don't get credit for the ability to use different voices and things like that in his raps, where he might be playing two characters and things like that. And so he is very good storyteller. A lot of people don't know that. That he told some good stories. So he was just all around a true hardcore MC. Nas is without question. And Jim Jones is blasphemous to even suggest that he was in a neighborhood with a Nas when it came to capabilities on that microphone. That CD right there, to me, is Nas's best work. A lot of people don't know when that came out, people were giving him grief from that CD to the first. They're saying that the first CD that he came out with, it was more underground. That one, they thought that he was reaching for mainstream because of the known producers. But to me, that right there was a more polished version of Nas. And from top to bottom, it was just a well put together lyrically, beats, collabs, all of it was just on point on that CD. So those two right there, they like Mount Rushmore type CDs. Now I'm gonna hit you with this with the difference between Bone and Tribe. One, I want my Tribe to be in here because Tribe is a good balance. Nas and DMX give you the more street stories and street vibe, where Bone is giving you more of that as well. It's felt West Coastish, but it was like the Midwest too infusion. But the thing about that CD to me, it had about 3 or 4 bangers on there. The other ones I didn't really necessarily listen to like that. But those 3 or 4 classics that they had on there, those are the ones that you kept going back to.
Right.
So I can push that to the side where that Tribe Called Quest was a more well-rounded piece. And I thought that one right there in the CD that came out before it's either one of those two, Low End Theory, is their best work. I thought this one might be. It's just like they just put everything together on this one. And I'm not going to say the names of some of the songs, but I think that's a better overall project than what Bone Thugs did. But all of those are classics. You know what I'm saying? In their own right. Yeah.
So what's Q-Tip in a Tribe Called Quest, right?
Yes, sir. Q-Tip, Ali, and you had Phife Dawg.
Yeah, Phife Dawg. So, damn, what's that song called? I wonder if it was Q-Tip or if it was a Tribe Called Quest. In my heart, you confuse things. Help me find my way. I forget the name of that song, but the beat.
Beat went hard.
Huh?
So the beat went hard.
Yeah, it starts off.
You get a chance
in the evening. Something you confuse things. I think that was Q-Tip, but like I said, I remember having one of their cassettes when I was younger.
Well, you're not talking about Large Professor, them, are you? Looking at the front door, are you?
It may be it. Like I said, I remember the song vividly. I just can't remember the name.
Okay. You get a chance, send it to me, good brother. You know, I want to take a listen to it. You know.
Okay. Yeah, but I couldn't let Bone Thugs go because like Bone Thugs, man, record the song with Notorious. I believe Biggie, that song. I think he rapped like that because he wanted to show that he was capable of rapping fast, like Bone Thugs and Harmony. But that song, Notorious Thug, is like Man,
You
when
know,
I was young, I used to bang that joint, and like Biggie sets it off, and then the Bone Thugs go after all of them rapping fast, man. That's my joint right there, man.
it's Bone and Biggie.
Hey,
It's
that's
Bone and
man.
Biggie.
Just when you hit play, like you said, just Bone and Biggie. As soon as you hear that, man, that song is a banger, and it's long too.
But you
Song
know,
like
he
6 minutes.
bit that off of Pac though. Pac did the same thing.
Okay.
When Pac was the first one who did the song with Bone, and then
Okay.
Big did it, and then not to be outdone, Master P had to do the same thing too.
Mm,
It's P and Bone. You know, P
yeah.
used to bite off all their little stuff that they used to do, but do it in his own way. Like
Gotcha.
when Big came out with 10 Crack Commandments, then he had to put like a song like that where he's numbering things, you know, as far as the drug game, you know,
Yeah.
on what his songs too. And then he just took the whole Pac persona. It's just his was a tank as opposed to being Death Row. You know what I'm saying? So he just took everything that they did, especially Pac, like even how you rap sometimes, you
Right.
know, he bit off Pac. But no, man, that was a dynamic duo. But did you know about the Pac and Bones song?
Nah, you gotta tell me what's that called?
I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh,
Yeah, that was because all of that stuff Big did was basically what Pac did with the double CD. It's just he did it
gotcha.
after Pac died, and he did it in his own way. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? So yeah,
Yeah.
no, that was the era, man. But at that time, you had to come out with you a double CD if you was that dude. You know what I'm saying? But it started. Other guys had double CDs before, but it wasn't as popular until Pac did it when he got out of the pen. But
Gotcha.
yeah, man, that's a whole another history, you know, in hip hop. I ain't gonna hit you off with another question, but I do want to shout out Bo Mac, man. Make sure your health is intact. You know, you're not out here like Larry Holmes, flabby and sick. You understand what I'm saying? But anything else you want to say before we wrap this one up, man? That was a good convo, man. Certainly appreciate you stopping through, so we can talk, you know, boxing talk. Man.
Yeah, like I said, man. Again, man, thank you for inviting me on here. Yeah, talk the sport we love. Like I said, just look out for the interview. Again, we shout out to the Cam Walker. Be on the lookout for him. So yeah, we got some nice fights, you know, coming up. The women's fight, really interested to seeing the trilogy between, you know, Serrano, Katie Taylor, Savannah Marshall, and Green. Definitely looking forward to that. Zepeda, Shakur Stevenson. So yeah, we got a lot of good fights coming up. So and yeah, I definitely want to say Emmanuel Aline and Damon Nicholson, they fight too. They fight on the 26th. This is the rematch. They're very familiar with each other. They fought 8 times in the amateurs. So this is gonna be their second time fighting, you know, as a pro. Like the first time it was a draw. So yeah, that's this month too.
You going to check it out?
Yeah, I probably will. I work on Saturdays now, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely probably make it out there.
Yeah. Well, how's your guy been doing? He used to come on with you sometime.
G5.
G5, and then also the other guy.
Yeah, so me and G5 rap. He's just got a new job. Like once his schedule, if he can get the schedule he wants, he's gonna make it happen. You know, try to make it happen twice a week, like he was doing before. So he's just trying to get like the approval for his job. So like if he gets that, then he'll be back on.
Oh, okay. Make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. But your other guy too, there was another dude that used to come. I forgot his name.
Vlog, boxing first vlog, and another guy, Shane. But vlog was the one that was on most of the time. He's older.
Nah, it was the other dude.
Shane?
Not
We
Shane.
call
It was
VP Shane. VP Shane, we call it. He's actually in the UK. If that was him, it was them two that was always on with G5.
no, it was another dude. The I forgot
Chris
the white.
G. Chris G.
Chris G. Yeah, G.
Yeah. Chris G. Yeah, me and Chris talk all the time on the phone. So yeah, he I'm trying to get him back in it, man. He's trying to get back in it, but like he's got a thing where he's working. He works for long hours with his mechanic business. Then he does like rental properties and stuff. So he busy with work. That's what it is.
He over there making that bread.
Yeah, he's making the bread, man. So, but yeah, me and Chris talk all the time on the phone, man.
Oh, that's what's up. I'm glad they're doing.
Yeah.
And once they back on, man, I look forward to hearing their perspectives because they always have some knowledge.
Yeah, for sure.
And some intimate details about perspectives and things that you wouldn't be thinking about. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and wrap this one up, man. We're gonna close this one out. Again, thank you, sir. Thank anybody that participated in the chat. Thanks to Shelton. And we're going to go ahead and close it out, man. On that note, you fellas and everybody that's listening, have a great rest of your week. And we'll be back to recap the big fight cards of next week. We out. Peace.
Peace.